All right, who we got here?
My name's Steve Woods. I'm from Acme Lock, and this is what we do.
Well, who are you at Acme Lock? What do you do?
I do everything from locksmithing, but my favorite part of the job is safe opening and repair.
I thought it was collecting the money since you own it.
That's secondary. Besides, I never see the money. It would be my wife's.
All right, well, Steve, tell me a little bit about what you got here, and tell me what kind of equipment and what got you into locksmithing.
Okay, well, show you the first item over here. This is called an automatic dialer. Usually the reason I use this is, especially if I'm doing multiple safes, this allows me to have an extra set of hands that will actually go through every combination possible to open up the safe. Part of what I do is also called safe manipulation, which when that's being done, all I do is actually feel and sight the combination to find out what the actual combination will be, which is actually quicker than what this will do. This normally will take approximately 24 hours on average to open up a safe over sometimes up to 10 million different combinations.
So this is what you do when you're tired and you want to go home to your wife.
Exactly. I can leave this go 24/7 as I sleep like a baby.
All right, well, let's see some of your other equipment.
Follow me. I have a few items on display here. Starting at the far left is what they call a spike master. What this item is used for is when you have an electronic safe. On the keypad, if it malfunctions and the lock set is not working properly, we can go in and use this to actually bypass what the combination is to open up the safe.
So it's like hot wiring a safe.
Exactly.
All right.
The second item we have here is used, it's a flexible fiber optic borescope that we actually have an image on a monitor that even has an SD card on it, so that way we can record the image and view it away from the safe in case there's something we need to examine later for quicker openings the next time, or for publications in some of the national locksmith magazines. But this also is very flexible. It allows us to drill a hole in the safe and go in and see what's going on, especially if there's a malfunction.
All right, what's this next tool?
Next tool to the right of that is part of a drill rig assembly that we use that produces a tremendous amount of force on a drill bit for penetration of what they call hard plate within the safe itself. Instead of just being regular metal, we have to use extremely hard carbide drill bits. Otherwise, a standard drill bit would just melt or dull immediately as soon as it hits this hard plate, which is especially hardened to keep somebody from drilling through it.
Okay, now what else we got here?
We also have, right behind that, this is what they call an articulating fiber optic borescope. What it does, which I can quickly demonstrate, is by turn of a dial that's on the side, you'll see where the tip can change angles. This allows us to go in and view different components for opening safes, especially if there's what they call relockers that have gone off or some malfunctions. We can actually angle it back in towards the inside of the safe itself. We use that quite often. The extra adapter next to it actually produces light through the fiber optic filaments in the borescope itself. Right behind that is a template for drill rigging. What we use that for is for knowing the exact place where to drill a safe for inspection, for opening, and those purposes. And to the right of that is where the drill bits are. And these drill bits vary in hardness depending on what kind of hard plate that we're drilling. And for extremely hard plate, especially ones that have what they call carbide chips within the hard plate, we also have diamond chip impregnated mini hole saws that will eat through the hard plate.
Okay. How about this bad boy? It looks like it can explode.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is actually an oxygen tank. What this is used for, we use this for, you can either gouge or penetrate metal, and any metal that you would use this on would immediately liquefy. As you use these tips that you'll see in these packages right here, it will actually liquefy the metal. And this is a controlled burn rod that use almost like what a welding torch would be using, except it's electrically controlled.
And it gets to how hot?
Oh, it gets it could get almost up to 8,000 degrees Fahrenheit, and that's plenty to melt any type of metal that you're trying to penetrate, including the hard plate. But as you would expect, it does put off a few fumes when using it. But we do use that on a regular basis. So you have to have a little bit of welding experience to know how to deal with this. Especially, you can see it comes with welding glasses. It comes with special welding gloves and things of that nature. So you better know what you're doing when you're using these bad boys.
All right, Steve. Well, tell me a little bit about, I guess, your experience and why you chose Acme Lock.
Well, actually, I'm a third-generation locksmith, so I tell everybody that I had no escape. But this is probably the most fun I've ever could have imagined within a job. I mean, you can almost think of a locksmith as a professional thief, but people pay you to break into stuff. There's been quite a few safes that have been extremely exciting as far as getting into. One of the latest ones I've had to open myself has been a 20-ton round vault door that had been locked up for 25 years. And this was in downtown Cincinnati, and it was an abandoned bank vault is what it was, and no one had the combination. But there was a tenant within the building itself that wanted to utilize that space. And they had no idea how big the vault was inside or what kind of materials were still in it. They were kind of worried that there was an actual sprinkler system within there, and they thought it was approximately 10 feet deep by maybe 10 feet wide. Well, once we got the vault door open, they found out it was 65 feet deep and about 45 feet wide, and it had multiple safety deposit box doors and bronze cages and things of that nature. And they knew they could get six figures just by scrapping all the metal that was left inside there, especially since a new tenant didn't want to utilize it as a standard vault.
Well, tell us a story of something that didn't go quite as planned. I believe your father may have torched something at one point.
Oh yeah, Thriftway, which is an old grocery store that isn't in existence anymore. It wanted him to get into a round door money chest. It was a Mosler money chest. I still remember that. And they wanted it as quickly as possible. Well, he got in because they weren't worried about what happened to the safe afterwards. He got in through the side, and he went and used something of this nature, which basically very quickly cut a hole in the side of it. And they said they weren't worried about what was happening to the inside contents because it was all cash. And as long as they showed the burnt chars of what resulted in the heating up of this being used and getting into that money chest quickly, it ended up burning about $60,000 to $65,000 worth of currency, which was easily replaced by the insurance company.
All right. Have you had any other crazy experiences opening a safe?
Actually, safety deposit box, which is very similar to that. We were opening up, I think, well over 300 safety deposit box units that were abandoned, and they were closing a bank down. And in one of those containers, we had opened up the safety deposit box lock. They pulled out the box, of course, opened the box up, and pulled out a bar approximately 10 inches long by about 4 inches wide by about an inch, inch and a half thick, and it weighed at least 10 to 15 pounds. And they thought, why would somebody have lead? Because it felt like a piece of lead that was in there. And the state auditor was getting ready to throw that away. Well, then I said, well, wait a minute, before you throw it away, can I see that bar? And when they pulled the bar out, they actually took and I said, let's go ahead and try to scratch it. And I said, if it was lead, you'd be able to mar it very easily, but you couldn't even make a scratch into the unit. So they finally determined that, oh, this was platinum, which if you're talking 10 to 15 pounds worth of platinum, you can only guess, at least in today's market, how much that would have been worth.
And how much would you guess it was?
Oh, well over $100,000.
Next time, let them throw them away.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, Steve, is there anything else that you can think of that the viewers at home may want to hear about your job?
Oh, sure. Sometimes it gets exciting. There was a time a little over a year and a half ago where I was called in the middle of the night to open up for the sheriff's departments in a joint effort with them, the FBI and the Cincinnati Police Department, to where they were doing a criminal investigation that lasted a long period of time on trying to bust somebody for prostitution, gambling, and I'm sure a lot of other events. And they needed a safe open, but a safe open without drilling it so it wasn't tampering with evidence. So at 3 in the morning, I ended up showing up down on what they call the west end over here, opening up 3 safes, and those were all done by manipulation. And I had The Shining playing in the background as I'm doing all this while there's a lot of chaos, people getting arrested and everything else behind me, while they had the money counters. And after opening up all 3 safes, they found drugs, guns, and well over $1 million in cash that was within the 3 safes.
No finder's fee?
No finder's fee.
I wonder why Christmas sucked.
Exactly.
All right. Well, Steve, I appreciate it, and we look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks again.